So let's talk a little bit about the installation of a electronic ignition system. As you can see here, what we've done is we have actually taken out the little plug in the top of the number 4 cylinder. This is on an AG5B. This installation will be a little bit abnormal compared to most of the Tigers, but we've tapped into this exhaust and we've used the nipple, a number 4 nipple with 1/8 inch pipe threads, to a hose, and then that hose goes right up here to the baffle and goes through a bulkhead fitting, and out on the other side, where we'll pick it up and go with another hose to take it through another bulkhead fitting into the aircraft over here on the firewall up high, and then that will get our manifold pressure inside the cockpit. From there we can go ahead and put the manifold pressure sensor on, and that takes care of that little problem. Okay, we left off last time at the bulkhead fitting that goes through the baffle seal, bringing the vacuum line off the number 4 cylinder intake boss to the other side, and that just runs down a number 4 line, and we've breached the stainless steel firewall on the AG5B with a 3/4 inch hole. We'll be putting fire block in there, and now I'm going to go over here and show you how we're going to hook up to the manifold. Okay, so now we're going to actually make the connection to the manifold pressure line. Now we're going to be making the connection to the manifold pressure line inside the cockpit. We're going to be using thread sealant on these connections. What we have here is an AN 816-4D. It's a number 4 nipple on one side for going into an AN4 hose. Into the number 4 size hose. It's a D size. And the other end is 1/8 inch pipe threads, which will go into this brass fitting. And then on the other side, we will be adding this Teflon bar nipple, and that will get shoved into here, and then we'll add a clamp just to make sure we have good manifold pressure. So that's the assembly for hooking up the manifold pressure. There is a note on the back that you want to make sure that the manifold pressure does receive a secondary ground. So what we normally do is we take one of these with some star washers and a short strip of wire, and we take it back to the ground bus or to a ground point that's common, and we get a good ground on this after we mechanically mount it. And so that's the manifold pressure sensor portion of it, and more to come. Stand by. Okay, so here's the completed manifold pressure sensor. We've got the nipple in the line, got a zip tie on it, thread sealant for these 2 connections. And now we have the ground wire, both mechanical and a good electrical connection. We used a 632 stainless steel screw, nylock nut, 2 star washers on either side of the metal piece, an eyelet, 2 feet of wire, all ready to go in the airplane now and be ground. This is just an auxiliary ground to make sure that the sensor in here gets a good ground for reading properly, for sending its information to the control unit. Stand by for more. And here's the manifold pressure sensor mounted on one of the support rods for the panel and the AG5B. I'll back out and give you a little more clarification. 2 idle clamps, some lock nuts, and now that's done. Now we're going to move on to the control unit. Back in a minute.